Hi, everyone. Our subject today is again probably about Muhammad, but this time it's about his dual mission. Muhammad has has two, let's say, not two personality. One personality, it has two, let's say, jobs or mission or aspects. One, when he became a prophet, so he's a prophet, and the mission of the prophet is, I'm going to explain it. And the other message is, the other mission actually is a messenger. Okay? So prophet, Nabi, and messenger, Rasul. Now, Muhammad said one nice thing that I like to say to you in turn. He told us, convey on my behalf to people even a single verse. Even a single verse. He didn't say hadith, he didn't say deed or act or something, single verse, which means Quran was the highest importance that he might have on his mind. Anyway, now the time when Archangel Gabriel appeared to Muhammad on the mount, it was a declaration that God chose Muhammad to be his prophet. This is a declaration like, okay, a prophet means a liaison, a connection with mankind to transmit informations about the universe and all creations, heaven and earth, and in between, the sea, the mountains, the rivers and trees, etc. Now, how it all began and who created this and what to do next with all these information and where to go with these information and where from to start and so on. These are questions about those information we're gonna get from Prophet Muhammad as like datas and universal and natural laws and etc. Things that we have in hand, knowledge, okay? We have to deal with it. Now, establishing universal laws of nature and physics in a precise mathematical timing and precise tuning as well. These are the information. On the other hand, Muhammad was revealed a message to deliver to all mankind, regulating their lives with commandments, values, and recommendations to test and practice as foundational conceptual precepts permitting to develop human societies, living together in harmony with love and tolerance. This was another mission Muhammad had to execute and deliver on top of the first one being a prophet and uh, give us the information about the creation and who created what and how and kind of detail about laws of nature, laws of physics, etc. Very mathematical. We know how much he and his companions suffered once in Mecca. His mission in its bilateral aspect was simply very, very difficult and costed him and his companions a lot. As for the word Quran, it's utilized with few other words in the course of the verses. To some factions, to some scholars, those words all they mean the same thing, while actually Quran comes from the Arab. Well, it is not. It is not so. Why? Because Quran comes from the Arabic word, root word, that is qarana, qarana, which means join and put up together or add up or something like this. Because the noble book, why is it from this root word? Because the noble book, composed of 6,632 verses, split between news and announcement concerning the whole creation, like we explained in the beginning. Those informations are in the preserved tablet, what we call in Arabic al-lawh al-mahfuz. They were in there, which means these are the formulas that God created the universe and all creations according to. This is the physics, the mathematics, the science with which God launched the creation, all of it. As verses 21 and 22 in Surah 85 say. Go back to the verses in Surah 85 and you'll see it. And human legend and historical stories of mankind in the clear register, which means two parts, one part concerning the universe and the creation, the other part is about legends and stories of mankind, how over the years, how he was created, how he lived, and all kinds of historical events. Now, this, according to the Quran, according to the book that is better, the noble book, are in the Imam al-Mubin, al-Imam al-Mubin, the clear register, which means as a register, sijil, Imam, Mubin, Wadih, clear. As verse 12 of Surah 36 says. To confirm what I'm saying, go back to verse 12, Surah 36. The preserved tablet contains in advance those news and announcement about the whole creation, which makes the prophecy that Muhammad divulged or presented. So in this preserved tablet, laws and, as I said, data and information announcement were there all the time, okay? Whereby taken as facts of existence. These information and data, they give us the fact of existence. As I said, laws of physics, laws of nature, and so on. Universe, how and who created it, and so on. So, taken as fact of existence, to be as is, which is the objective laws of creations. In brief, about the objective laws of creation, which means something we cannot argue, we cannot have any interference in. Of course, we can try to study all this, make sure and experiment to get to the truth and so on, which is what the science is doing. Now, all this Muhammad transmitted being a prophet, being a prophet. Now, the clear register, which is being a prophet, information comes from the preserved tablet. The clear registers, as I said, the one that contains the stories and legends about mankind and so on, it's the subjective events and laws came down intermittently upon various circumstantial events and happening subsequently that we may like or reject, which means we have the choice about those, I may say, commandment and recommendations and stories to take as an example and so on. We can either choose to adapt or to accept or to reject. I'm going to give you an example like this, about this. Like fasting, for instance. I may be able and willing to fast, and I may be able or willing not to fast. The siyam. Praying as well. It's a choice. Okay? Helping the needy, etc. I may give charity, I may not. Which Muhammad delivered as a messenger. These things, okay? Muhammad, this message actually is not a thing, this is a message. Muhammad delivered as messenger. Now, giving us the choice to comply totally or partially. Everyone can choose what he or she likes. As Prophet, Muhammad suggested opinions and rulings whereby he accepted different suggestions and opinions from his companions. Even on many occasions, in many verses, Allah reproached him some acts, decisions, or behavior to correct his attitude, as in the famous Surah 80, verses 1, 2, and 3, known in Arabic, Abasa wa Tawalla. In this surah, I'm going to translate it. It starts like this. He frowned and turned away because there came to him the blind man. How can you know whether haply he might be righteous? God is kind of telling Muhammad, why you turn your back on this poor man, as if you know that he is not a righteous person. Okay? And in Surah 64, verse 1, God said, O Prophet, why do you forbid that which Allah has allowed to you? The meaning is clear. Okay? And in Surah 8, verse 67, Allah told Muhammad, the Prophet, in this particular case, it is not for a prophet, and he said a prophet, and before he said, oh prophet, so addressing to the Prophet. It's not for a prophet to have prisoners of war until he has thoroughly subdued the land. As well, telling him, why did you do this? This is the deep meaning of it. Some fanatics may not like these remarks, although they are God's words. As Messenger Muhammad was ordered by Allah in verse 67, Surah 5, O Messenger, proclaim which has been sent down to you from your Lord, and if you do not, then you have not conveyed his message. Allah will protect you from mankind. And look at the difference between being a prophet and a messenger in this verse. As a prophet, God told Muhammad few times, why did you do this? Why didn't you do that? And so on. Okay? As a messenger, God told him, deliver the message, and if you don't, then you missed something. Don't be afraid, don't worry. Allah will protect you from mankind, from people. That is. So we see here that as messenger, Allah took upon himself the duty of protecting him, but not as prophet. Not as prophet. Because as prophet, he was like a let's say a leader. Okay, he was like a leader, and even on few occasions he was fighting the Meccan, defending himself and his companion, which means he might have been killed, and eventually he was wounded and feared dead in the battle of Uhud. Thank you.